Stampede went into a paddock and up towards it.
Well, hello everybody, it's Suffolk Andy here. Now starting a little ride with my boy, tackless drib, Aaron. Don't know where we're going, just filling up from the trip a couple of weeks ago. There you go, boy. From Hunstanton. Just have to see where the road takes us, I think. We'll probably land up somewhere in Essex, but there you go. I don't know about you or how you think about it, but these new changes in Wales to the 20-mile-an-hour limit in suburban areas, what you think about it? I wouldn't be happy if they were brought in round here. In fact, I'd go so far as to say I'd campaign against it. These zealots who are having a war on the cars and the green New Deal. I can't help laughing, I'm sorry, but I just can't help laughing. But this cultist group of people who are destroying your life and mine don't seem to get it. And 20-mile-an-hour limits everywhere to save the children, as they say, or lives. Now, anybody with a hint of brain cell would say, yeah, outside schools. Now in my area I've got two schools nearly together. They're not that far apart, about a quarter of a mile, and all the way from one school to the other and the other side is 20 mile an hour. And I really don't disagree with it, because there's a couple of times a day there's kids everywhere and I could understand it. But to put it, see I'm speeding now, look, 32, that'd give me a ticket in Wales, wouldn't it? But the other day me and my missus were out in my car, and I've got an old, really old BMW X3. It's really old, and I said, right, let's try this 20-mile-an-hour limit, and we're nothing behind me or anything. So I brought us down to 20 mile an hour, and my car was revving quite high at 20 mile an hour in second gear. So I put it into third, and that started to chug a little bit because that was too low for it in third gear. And I thought, what the freaking hell am I going to drive this car at 20 mile an hour in second gear? I'm going to use more fuel because I'm going to be revving higher, and I'm going to be wearing out the engine quicker, all the rest of it, so I can save the planet, or whatever the idea of it is, because all we get is save the children. You know, it will save so many children. But they're taking, do you know the thing what got me? They were taking stopping distances from about nearly 80 years ago. Well, cars today are better at stopping, there's no doubt about that. I think maybe I'm completely and utterly wrong. When you're hit with a car at 30, it's not good. No doubt about it. But when you're hit with an electric car at 30 mile an hour, it's suicide, because they're heavier. But I've been told they stop better. So what's the difference? So the point is, they're not looking into it, because a lot of people who go to Wales on holiday are not going to go to Wales and drive around at 20 mile an hour. I'm never going to go there anymore, and I like Wales. I've got family in Wales, but I ain't going down there to drive at 20 mile an hour everywhere. So that will stop a lot of people going there. A lot of people will say, oh well, I'm not going to do that, you know. So that's going to cost them money. And what about times of things like deliveries, tests? I see a man on there who does lorry tests, and he does so many a day. So now he's got to cut one of those lorry tests completely out. Lost revenue. And another driver, or a lorry driver, who won't pass these tests quick enough. Let's start queuing up. Same with car tests and everything else. They're really not thinking this shit out, are they really? They really are not thinking it out. We've got a little right away here. I know where we're going to land up. We always land up in bloody Harwich. Always land up in Harwich. Yeah, I don't think they're thinking that out, you know, for the amount of money it's going to cost. And you think of all the signs that have been put up, that, you know, all the 30-mile-an-hour signs have got to be changed. Now, you know, my job before I retired was traffic management. It was putting the bloody signs up and cones and all that sort of thing, and, you know, traffic lights and stuff like that. I know it's not a nice popular job when it comes to bloody motors, but anyway, it costs a fortune to change signs, and I should imagine to change all the signs in Wales will cost millions. Then there's the revenue of the time it's taken and the lost revenue from tourists and everything else. It's going to cost billions. But they don't think, do they? They don't think about anything like that. It's for the children. They will sacrifice their own communities on the altar of being zealots. Really sad. You take London with the ULEZ. My God. Now I know, because I put my car number registration into the ULEZ to see if I could go to London and that. No. I'd have to pay £12. So it's alright to ban my car, but I can come and pollute your city if I pay £12. What's that all about? What the hell is that all about? So, I can honestly tell you now, I will never ever go to London for the rest of my life. There's no doubt about it. I never went a lot anyway because I think it's a shithole. But I'm not going back. Certainly not in a car. I'm not going to pay £12 so I can pollute the city. It's just daft. I could say a lot more on that one because that would really get me raging, and I'm not going to rage. I could get quite nasty on that one. So yeah, I don't know what you think about it all. And I did hear the other day that some councils in some towns, and now when you go to park your car, if you've got a diesel car, you have to pay more money because you've got a diesel car. Well, I wouldn't go to them towns, and if I lived in them towns I wouldn't shop in them. So that means people won't go, and the shops suffer, because you can see all your empty shops in your towns anyway, because they're all being destroyed by the, you know, online shopping channels and everything else, and firms like Amazon and places like that. And all they want to do is destroy their communities. Do you know what? I'm now starting to think they don't like us. They don't like the British people. Really, really feel these, well, zealots. And let's face it, and I'll be quite truthful, most of them are socialists, communists, and whatever in power. They just want you out of the way because they know better than you do. You know what I mean? They know better than you. Which is sad, really. And I think in the future they will push us so much. There will be a reckoning, a backlash. But they don't get it because they always think they're better than us. They know more than the great unwashed plebs that they think we are. But I'll tell you what, that ain't gonna wash much longer. Anyway, that's just a little segment on that. Just let me know what you think about all this 20 mile an hour, ULEZ and parking fees for people who've got a diesel car. Let me know. I'm going to put a little bit in on this vlog. I was just talking to my son, who's a driving instructor, and we were talking about the 20 mile an hour limits, and I said, what about push bikes? And he said push bikes can be prosecuted for riding a push bike dangerously or recklessly, but they can't be done for speeding because they've got no engine. And he was saying there's a station on YouTube, I think it's called the Black Belt Barrister, and he was saying that people on push bikes can't get done for speeding. So I don't know what you mean, what you think of that. Should they be subject to speeding if you're in a 20-mile-an-hour limit? Because most cyclists I know can go a lot quicker than 20 mile an hour, especially down hills and stuff, and then on them racing bikes they bloody whip along. So that's a little bit I'll put in, so let me know what you think about bikes as well. Anyway, I think that will do. So, all ride safe, love each other, Suffolk Andy.